entertainment. Length of speech 5 to 7 minutes. Title of speech, importance. And he did not give us any information on himself, and all I can say is he did beat me in the competition, which I was grateful for. Don't get sick. I have to perform. And I wish I had gotten this manual. I didn't get that one. It sounds like a fun manual.
What makes somebody important, a person of importance? Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Colin Powell, as many of us know, was Secretary of State under George Bush. But prior to that, he was a member of Joint Chiefs of Staff. And he tells an interesting story from that time. All these generals were in a meeting at the White House, and as people do, hang around before the meeting. So one of the generals asked the other generals, so how do you know you're important? Other general replies, well, the president invites you for a meeting in the White House, in the Oval Office, then he asks everyone else to leave so you can listen and focus on what you have to say. Pretty important. Another general speaks up, meeting at the Oval Office, ask everyone to leave so you can focus on what you have to say, and the red phone rings. The president ignores the phone so you can focus on what you have to say. Finally, listen to this. Colin Powell speaks up. He says, meet at the Oval Office, asks everyone to leave so you can focus on what you have to say. The red phone rings. The president picks up the phone, answers the phone, hands it to you and says, Colin, it's for you. Now, we're all familiar with the iPhone. It created a phenomenon. It certainly wasn't the first smartphone out there, but certainly identified as a smartphone. 6 weeks prior to the launch of the iPhone, Steve Jobs called all the senior executives in his office, all his direct reports. He had been carrying a prototype iPhone in his pocket. Pulled it out of his pocket, put it up, and said, "What's wrong with this picture?" I'm like, what's going on? He said, people are going to be carrying this thing in their pant pockets, along with their keys, coins, and other things in the pocket. What you don't see are the micro scratches that will ruin the experience. Right after that meeting, one of the executives booked a flight to China. So that 6 weeks before they had to launch their product, their premium product, they could change the front screen from plastic to glass. Steve Jobs cared so much about his products and how people use them, down to that detail. Facebook, everybody's familiar with it, social network, and you've seen the movie, Zuckerberg, right? We all know the story, maybe not. Harvard dorm room, started the company in Harvard, dropped out, all that fun stuff, and went and became very big. But 2 years after it started, he was offered by Yahoo to buy the company from him. That's pretty impressive, right? Yahoo, a giant internet search engine, asking to buy this startup company. That's pretty much what startups are about, right? You build this thing, then you sell it off, and retire rich. They offered him $1 billion for Facebook. He refused. Everybody thought he was insane. A 22, 23-year-old kid, $1 billion? Recently, Facebook IPO'd a couple months ago, and the valuation of the company was $100 billion. 100 times the value Yahoo offered just a few years ago. Zuckerberg cared so much about what he was doing and about getting people together that he knew it was worth a lot more than what Yahoo was offering for them. Finally, a little bit different. Chelsea Sonberg, hero of the Hudson. Very popular story a couple years ago. He was a pilot who landed the flight on the Hudson. Nobody got hurt. What is not known so much about this story is he announced, brace for impact, calmly landed the plane on the river, then calmly unbuckled his seatbelt. And without panic, without any kind of crazy dog running around, walked back into the aisle, asking passengers to get off the plane, and continued to walk up and down the aisle until all the passengers were gone off the plane, until he was sure all the passengers was gone, then he left the plane. Keep in mind, the entire time, the plane is starting to sink into the river. So what does make someone important? Is it the lifetime achievements, such as Colin Powell has done? Is it the caring of the product or the service you're providing, like Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg? Or is it the fact that you're at that place at that time and your skills save people? Now, I'm not here to offer you an answer what makes you important, something you have to answer for yourself. Certainly, the fact that we're here, we're trying to grow ourselves. And urge yourself, as you go out there today, ask yourself, what makes me important?